Coach, how would you assess your team through the first couple of games, and how does this compare to where you expected to be at this point in the season?
Well, you know, 2 weeks ago when we played the Sun Valley, I didn't think we played very well at all. I think it had an awful lot to do with putting in the system. Kids not following through on the system, doing the things they coached to do. Came out in the second half of that game, coached them up in the second half. They did more of what we asked them to do. Grades went up, score went down. Things that we wanted done was done. I thought we played a great football game against a great football team Friday night. We felt like we had an opportunity to go up by one, but extra point, didn't get it. Had it blocked, turned around in a 12-12 game, going I think in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game, and gave up 2 quick scores. We just can't get that monkey off our back as far as making plays at the end. But we are definitely a better football team right now than what we were 2 weeks ago. And to be honest with you, I was a little concerned with the first game. I didn't know where we'd be at that time. I didn't think we would be technically as bad as we were. But after what I saw last week, we're getting pretty darn close to where I think we should be at this time of year.
You know what to do, Brian? All right, here we go.
What's the biggest thing your team needs to improve on as it looks for that first win?
Fundamentals of the game. We're finally getting to where we're getting offensive sets down, knowing where we're supposed to be, knowing our assignments. Defensively, big time also, we're starting to get to where we know where we're supposed to be. When we spend probably 20 to 25 minutes a day on nothing but checks and run fits. And I think that's 90% of the defense to line up correctly. But fundamentally, the fundamental parts of the game, those are some. Even though we were in bad spots against Sun Valley, we just fundamentally just bombed it. I mean, we were not a very good fundamentally football team, and it's going to take us a while to get to where I want us to be, but I think we'll get there.
Coach, you inherited a really difficult schedule when you took the job in late April. Did you ever attempt to lighten the load, or have you at least wished that you didn't have to start out with such a brutal non-conference schedule like Sun Valley, Clover, and Shelby?
You said it right. We have a pretty darn tough schedule, and coming up this week with Shelby, they've got a great tradition. They play hard. They do everything right. So we're going to have to make sure we're doing everything right. And then, of course, the next 2 weeks, I mean, we play with decent teams getting into the Crest game for the conference. So, I mean, this is a big game for us. But I guess if I was making the schedule, maybe I'd have gone a little bit different way. But, it is what it is. You got to play it and do the best you can with it.
Break down this week's matchup with Shelby, and what are the keys for your team this week?
Offensively, we have got to be able to have ball control. We've got to be able to change field position, throw the ball when needed. Shelby is going to present some situations for us defensively. I think they're going to really try to force us to get out of our comfort zone of running it and to throw the ball. Defensively, they're doing some similar things what we saw against Clover, but they're not as tight. They're a little bit more spread out of it, and they do it well. We're going to have to make our reads. What scares me the most is on the perimeter, where they use their wings a lot. They'll put the wings in motion. They use the wing to crack back, and they use their wing out in pass and for option. So there's wings are going to give us some tremendous problems, as did Clover. And that is a big concern. If we're able to play the wings right and play the defense by gap control like what we're supposed to, I think we'll be okay. And the special teams is going to be big in this game too. Shelby is very athletic, and they get a lot of yardage and a lot of scores at times off the special teams. I've seen past years of tapes that I've watched. So we're going to have to be fundamentally sound on our special teams to make sure we don't let the game get away from us early.
Coach, a lot of people hyped up the Big South 3A Conference during the preseason. Looks like a lot of really strong teams top to bottom. I'm curious, has your opinion of the conference changed over the course of the first 2 weeks?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think, to be honest with you, sitting in my seat here at Ashbrook, there's every team in that conference we feel like we can beat, and I feel like every team in that conference can beat us. And I think it's across the board. Everybody looks at South Point, what's happened in them last couple of weeks. Hey, Clover's a pretty darn good football team. We just played them, and Lincoln they've always been a fairly good program. If they're down, they're not down long. So they play two good football teams. I just, you know, you got Huss. Huss is always, they're always in the mix of it. I just think, you know, Crest. I think any team can win on any night, and I think everybody's going to have to bring their A game to be successful this year. I really do.